Welcome, listeners all over the southeastern Wisconsin area and listening to us live at ESPNMilwaukee.com. Damian Nelson here along with the man they call Meathead for the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN Monday night, March 30th, 2009. We are on the road to WrestleMania 25, the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania coming up this Sunday night as WWE Raw goes off the air right now with Randy Orton and Triple H mixing it up in the ring. We've got a lot to cover tonight, including a full preview of WrestleMania 25. We've got our VI3. We'll talk about the Raw from tonight, some controversy between Vince McMahon and Dixie Carter of TNA Wrestling, the news desk, review of 12 rounds, and we've even got our WrestleMania Dream matches. Fans, you can join us in the chatmosphere at pwrshow.com. There's a live chat available now. You can also join us right here at ESPN 540 ESPN by calling us at 276-ESPN. Again, that's 276-3776 or 1-800-990-ESPN, 1-800-990-3776. So go ahead and give us a call. Be a part of this live broadcast tonight, Monday, March 30th. Let's talk about the Raw that just went off the air and a couple of big things happening, lastly being Randy Orton's address to the WWE Universe. I really hate saying WWE Universe because it just sounds so cliched and company. But be that as it may, Randy Orton comes out and says that everything he has done has led him to this moment this weekend, WrestleMania 25, the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania. And then we saw the return of not only Shane McMahon, but Vince McMahon back on Raw after a long time away, him and along with his son Shane and Triple H, all coming down to the ring and attacking the legacy with their brand new T-shirts. It was a good way to treat the main event of WrestleMania going into the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania this weekend. So a good way to end Raw. However, there's a couple of other things on Raw that really didn't make much sense, specifically the JBL versus Rey Mysterio match. If we're supposed to be buying WrestleMania coming up this Sunday night on pay-per-view, why are you giving us one of the marquee matches for free? The Intercontinental Championship obviously will be on the line in that matchup on Sunday at WrestleMania, so it makes it a pretty big match. JBL versus Mysterio. JBL saying he will make a historic beating of Rey Mysterio at WrestleMania coming up this Sunday. And that match, obviously non-title tonight, Mysterio getting the win. I guess a little bit of storyline progression there with JBL not being shown. It won't potentially be as easy as he may have thought it would be. Jericho takes on Jerry the King Lawler. This was sort of, you saw it coming for a while. Match was sort of blah. Someone pointed out, I think it might have been last week here on this very program, if not in the PWR forum, when's the last time Jerry Lawler actually won a match on Raw? It's been quite a while. The Legends angle continues with Chris Jericho, and we did find out that in that matchup at WrestleMania, he will be facing each of them individually. So Roddy Piper, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and Jimmy Superfly Snuka, he'll be facing each of them individually coming up this Sunday night live on pay-per-view. And obviously the funniest moment of the night again goes to Santino Marella. I never thought, it was almost like when Mae Young showed her puppies at the Royal Rumble 2000, we saw Santino Marella in a mankini.
That wasn't that funny.
A mankini, for God's sake. And also,
he was channeling Borat.
And also referenced the WWE president, Jack Tunney, which was classic.
That was funny. I went to see President Jack Tunney. I find out that he's been dead for several years now, but...
Yes, indeed. So Raw overall tonight, I'm not sure if it did what it needed to do to force me to buy WrestleMania this Sunday. Not like I'm not going to, but again, for the go-home edition of the show, I thought it wasn't as good as it could have been. We saw Big Show versus John Cena. Edge obviously getting involved in that, but it just wasn't.
Honestly, I think it made me sick. I think it made me sick. And Tillman and the Dragon, the guys hanging around the studio, I don't know whose mic this is tomorrow morning. Keep an eye on that for a couple days, because Raw made me sick.
In the Chatmosphere, people are talking about some problems we're having potentially with the ESPN feed, so we'll work on that as well. But the WWE Raw tonight, it's gone. This is it. We got Smackdown and ECW taking us into WrestleMania. We know Smackdown matches were taped tonight, and going into Friday night, they're going to have some footage from Access where they're going to have some actual matches going on. and all that as well. So there will be some more time to do something more interesting for WrestleMania coming up this Sunday. Let's go now to the news and the big story of the week, which was actually, as I reported on, a nothing story when it first came out because it got blown a bit out of proportion.
But it's grown legs.
It certainly has, and it was Vince McMahon making a statement about actually acknowledging the fact that he watches TNA programming or has seen TNA programming, and said, Meathead, that he finds some of the programming on TNA Impact
Say the word.
to be reprehensible.
Really?
But acknowledged that they have a TV 14 rating, so said they can do it because they have that. However, he finds it reprehensible. Now, coming from Vince McMahon, the man that brought us Mae Young giving birth to a hand, Mae Young's puppies, Brian Pillman's
well, they were
home
actually
invasion,
shaped like burpees.
Kane having sex with a dead woman.
Yeah.
I mean, to say that he finds TNA's programming
something about
reprehensible.
a kettle and a pot.
I think he called it black. But very shocking from Vince McMahon. Now, what was more shocking was in a recent interview, Dixie Carter, who's the president of TNA Wrestling, had a rebuttal. And I quote, she says, I think it's wonderful that Vince watches TNA Impact.
That is the best line she could have ever came up with. Thanks, Vince, for watching. No wonder we have record ratings.
Well, keep in mind, they've long said, and he's long said, he doesn't watch Impact. Doesn't even know when it's on and all that stuff. And that's obviously, I mean, we made that point a couple of weeks ago right here in this program. You're always aware of your competition, but you typically may not acknowledge them, but you're always aware. And for him to
Vince
not
just acknowledge TNA, so we may have a little something going on.
So something.
What's
Dixie,
going on?
Dixie goes on to say, and I agree with him that things such as the brutal beating of a 60-year-old man, a vicious home invasion, and gratuitous man-on-woman violence can be seen as reprehensible.
But wait.
And that's just the last 3 Monday nights.
Yeah. Ding.
A
ding.
zinger, and final word in that exchange came from Dixie Carter, who simply said everything that needed to be said in just those few words in response to WWE and Vince McMahon and their impression or his impression of TNA Impact. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. You can join us on the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. The number is 276-3776, 276-3776, or 1-800-990-3776. Again, 800-990-3776. We're going to go to the phones. We've got Terry in Waukesha. Terry, you are live here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Gentlemen, how are we doing this evening?
Honestly,
I'm doing good.
Raw made me sick.
Meathead's a little under the weather. Frank is actually missing in action. He's got some draft activities going on this evening.
Yeah, which means he'll be joining the service.
Well, it's good that I can, it's good that I'm on the air with you guys again. It's, I listen every week to you guys. You're my source for wrestling news.
Really?
It's
a joke.
I do a lot of web surfing, but I like to listen to you guys. I think you guys give a nice, honest, fair, balanced report. And
we're like Fox.
Yep, exactly. So I was watching Raw tonight. I kind of made it a habit to watch, to give you guys at least my opinion. I thought Raw was, pretty decent. Didn't like Cena jobbing to the show. I thought that was kind of but
he'll win on Sunday, so.
Yeah, in the end, when Vince and Shane and Triple H came down, that was hysterical.
Well, Lincoln Park says in the end it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but that was pretty good.
I think they say it better.
Who do you think is going to win Money in the Bank? I know that people they've said that Vince doesn't like Christian that much, but why do I have a sneaking suspicion he might just win and then be like the first guy to cash in and lose? I mean,
where's the long-term benefit? That's what you got to look at in the winner of that matchup, and it could be Christian, but you've got Shelton Benjamin in that thing who they keep pushing, but I don't know if they're going to give it to him. I mean, he's certainly going to be one of the stars in the matchup, and what I mean by that is he always steals the show in Money in the Bank. CM Punk, he won it before. I don't think Mark Henry or Kane is going to win it. I mean, they can go a lot of different ways. We'll give our actual full predictions later on in the show as we do the WrestleMania 25 preview. But I think Christian could be a safe bet.
The other thing I wanted to ask you guys is your opinion. I'm gonna ask the question and then I'll hang up and listen to what you guys have to say. You guys were always talking how they can improve Raw and how they can improve like TNA Impact. Do you guys think that they're really kind of like missing like managers and things like that? Kind of going back to the way it used to be, where there used to be factions and like the Four Horsemen and things like that. And that's what kind of, if Raw went back to that, or the WWE went back to like more managers and groups and factions and things like that, and maybe a little bit more warring between different things, that might bring more interest into the fans. I kind of want to know what your guys' opinion is. Enjoy the show, guys, and I'll be listening to your...
Wait, Terry, don't hang up. I do want to ask you one question.
Oh, sure.
It's been on HDNet twice now, and apparently you're the Ring of Honor guy, and we want to ask
some
you
Ring of Honor in here.
Yeah, there's some Ring of Honor in here. I've watched 2 episodes now. The first episode, you may have heard my opinion on it.
Mm-hmm.
I fell asleep. Now, This last episode, Briscoe versus Nigel McGuinness, I found it to be a little slow-paced, but you know what? I'm really impressed with Nigel McGuinness, and actually I'm more impressed with Briscoe. What are your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts is that, first of all, I just read on one of the websites that Time Warner Cable is dropping HDNet.
They're reaching a new agreement that looks as if they just have 24 hours to do it. This happens quite a bit in cable.
That happens a lot.
Sanjay Dutt is coming back to the company after 3 years. He just signed recently with ROH. Jimmy Rave has come back. They've brought back the embassy. I think they have a lot of good plans in place. But, yes, I do agree with Meathead. If you watch the first 2, if you're a pure wrestling fan, yeah, you'll watch the whole thing. But if you're a guy who likes the sports entertainment aspect of wrestling, then, yeah, you're going to fall asleep, because it's definitely not the same way the WWE is. WWE is more polished. It's more put together.
And their play-by-play guy?
And they need to bring back Lenny Leonard and Dave Prazak.
You know, Prazak is fine. Again, we know Prazak from the local wrestling scene here. Prazak's been in Milwaukee and been around for a long time. We know
wasn't
Prazak.
the same Dave.
Yeah, but you know, he's as Damian has told you, very under control when he's on TV. But you know, their play-by-play guy, emphasis at the wrong spots, and then kind of clueless in some spots.
Yeah, he's horrible. They need. If you've ever watched any of the pay-per-views, the Lenny Leonard, Dave Prazak that they have on the pay-per-views is what they need to bring to TV. And they need to think outside the box the way ECW did when it first started up. You know, not saying that they need to do the ultra-violence and stuff like that, but they need to bring their own identity to it. They need to stop following the quote-unquote model. What was right for the WWE is not right for ROH.
Well, here's the challenge. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. Here's a challenge, much like TNA had. When you get networks involved, and when you get on air and you have advertisers to please and ratings to deliver, you get influences from people who may not necessarily understand the business. And I don't think that's hit Ring of Honor yet. Of the programming I've seen, I think they are focusing on their core, which is wrestling. It definitely has a different look from that of WWE and TNA. It's an alternative, and that's what a lot of fans are seeking now.
And
they've got to advertise it. They haven't advertised it at all outside of HDNet, so they've got to get the word out to the wrestling fans out there that the show is on.
Yeah, and that's the thing. To me, I like pure wrestling, but like I said, the WWE has its viewers, and it's always, there's nobody out there right now who can even touch the WWE the way it comes. I mean, they're so big, they're so polished. It's not even, there's not. But TNA and ROH has a chance to catch TNA, especially the way TNA is kind of spiraling out of control. I mean, it's pretty bad. I mean, I watch it and I'm kind of like, okay, I've seen the Jarrett Angle thing for like 7 weeks now, and I'm really kind of bored of it and kind of sick of it. And I've seen those same 5 guys crawl across the screen, and Samoa Joe is too busy carrying around a knife, acting like the Samoan version of
a knife.
Yeah, of Outback Jack or whatever. And it's like, give me a break. Go back to what brought you to the dance.
You got to dance with who brung you.
Terry, thank you.
You're welcome, guys.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Terry. Again, you can be on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN. Call us at 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. We are also streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and at PWRshow.com, where the Chatmosphere is currently at capacity, Meathead. So hop on over to the forum and join the discussion at PWRshow.com. When we come back, I'll have the answer to Terry's question. We've got so much more, including a preview of WrestleMania 25. We'll talk about last week's TV. We've got the news desk and more right here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Join the 540 ESPN text club today. Get details at ESPNMilwaukee.com.
You want to tell everybody what you told me during the break?
What's that?
How you own a mankini?
Oh, dude, I dressed like Borat for Halloween, dude.
My name is Santino. Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call me, Dad, here live Monday night, March 30th, 2009. Before we took that time out, we had a question from a caller by the name of Terry from Waukesha, Wisconsin, about the lost art of managers and factions in professional wrestling, specifically TNA. We talked about this a couple of weeks ago. I think that's what they should be using Jim Cornette for. Jim Cornette would be a great addition to the TNA roster as far as on-air roles if he were back in a managerial position. You look back at the day of the J.J. Dillons, the Jimmy Harts, the Mr. Fuji's, the Bobby Heenans, the Paul Ellerings even. You had so many managers. Dr. Styles Slick. Brother Love was a manager.
Father
briefly.
Mitchell.
And so many of them really put their talent over so much more than their talent could have. Paul Heyman to Brock Lesnar. It really is what you need right now for a lot of these people that may not have the mic skills at this point, or may not have the abilities to put themselves as over as a manager could. The Heenan family really was, the dominant faction in WWE at the time. So I think it's really a lost art. I'm willing to throw my hand in the hat, or throw my name in the hat to be a manager.
You're going to throw your hand in whose hat?
Now, see, here's the thing. Frank Costantino has long talked about wanting to be a wrestling manager.
However, Frank says he doesn't want to take a bump.
Frank is about as bad as Michael Cole, maybe worse, as far as running away from any wrestler that comes near them so that they don't get hit. Frank is deathly afraid of bumps. But be that as it may, I do think it's a lost art, and I think that we see that return. I don't think it's going to be a bad thing for professional wrestling. But again, so much time has passed, I don't think we're going to see it.
No, the thing is, you got to understand what is entertaining on TV. And right now, for the audience that they're looking for, what is entertaining on TV is nice PG characters like Ray Ray and John Cena, girls to look at for teenage boys, and, young adult males, and, some other stuff. That's it.
We are live tonight. We are accepting your phone calls at 276-3776 here locally, or 1-800-990-3776. We're also streaming live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com, where you can join us in the chatmosphere or the PWR forum. And we'll be going to some forum comments later on, Meathead, as we talk about last week's TV.
Okay.
But before we do that, let's go to the phone lines, and let's take line 2. We've got Showhill. You are live at the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN.
Hey, Damon. Hey, Meathead. What's up?
What's cracking?
Hey, this is me. I called in last week, but you guys didn't broadcast. I'm from UTK. I think we're talking about that whole Kevin Nash thing.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Oh, hey, what's up, guys? I just wanted to talk about, I guess last week the listeners didn't. You guys probably didn't understand.
UTK, University of Tennessee, Knoxville. Sorry, my brain's
that
really
long
slow.
to figure it out.
Oh, my bad. Sorry. So
Sorry.
I love acronyms, just like Triple H. So I was gonna clarify what I asked you. You know how Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon came out, and I said there could possibly be I was thinking there could be a heel turn to help Randy Orton, a la how Vince McMahon helped Austin and when he turned heel.
Yeah.
Because technically Shane and Vince are both generational wrestlers, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It could be a part of the legacy. And I had one more quick, see what you guys would say about, but since Jericho has to wrestle everyone individually, could you see he beating everyone and he said no legend could beat me, and then Austin could come out?
Possibly. The stunner. And then that's it.
He will be a Hall of Famer at that point.
See,
Dude, that is a good thing that could happen. That's interesting. I didn't give that any consideration at all.
Because I was thinking, Vince McMahon would know, all right, people are going to buy WrestleMania 25 because it's built up so much. We don't have to, broadcast that Austin's coming because people are going to know he's going to show up. So you might as well throw that in as a big surprise.
Yeah. No, well, if it happens, the credit goes to you, Showhill, because all he needs to do is come in and do a couple, punch him around a couple times, do a stunner, pin him, and 1, 2, 3, that ends it happy. I mean, here's the thing. Piper can't go. Snuka can probably go for a little while. Steamboat, I think, can go. So I don't know how they're going to book this thing. It's going to be a bit of a mess.
Steamboat's the unknown. We've seen Snuka in a ring. We've seen Piper in rings. Steamboat's an unknown.
Showhill, thank you so much for calling into the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, speculating that it will end up being Austin and Jericho. And a match that was long talked about, and a lot of people said would not happen, but now this scenario that he has to take them on individually makes a lot of sense to potentially throw Austin into that mix. And as you were saying, Meathead, there is no doubt he will be in attendance at WrestleMania, and the expectation will be at least one stunner somewhere for someone.
Yeah, and some people actually, are going to pay to see that. Does that make sense? I mean, does that really make sense that somebody's going to pay to see Austin stun someone?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you paying for it?
Well,
let me ask you this.
It's one
hypothetical.
noodle in the soup.
I'm going to throw out my noodle in a hypothetical. Thank you. I'll be here all week. I'm going to throw out a hypothetical. Would you pay, even though, I know where you're probably going, I know where I'm going to go. I'm still going to pay for it at the house, but are you paying specifically because you know that Austin will be there?
Oh, God, no. No, absolutely not.
What are you paying for?
WrestleMania.
The name, the
event, the must-see event of each year from wrestling pay-per-view.
I tell you, I'm still kind of hoping something will come through in the next 2 days.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. You can join us on the phone lines, 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. Let's go to line one. We've got Steve from Heartland, Wisconsin. Steve, you're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Steve, how's the cows out there?
Oh, they're doing great.
Good.
They're bestie. A couple things. First, I just wondering. I actually fell asleep before Orton came out. So I woke up.
Raw does that to you.
Yeah, I woke up when everybody. When McMahon and actually when Shane came out. What was said before that Orton was saying that he was going to change the WWE universe?
Yeah,
what was he?
He talked about the IED and that it wasn't really an illness. He knew what he was doing the whole time. Every time he attacked all these people, Triple H turned on him back in 2004 when he became the youngest champion of all time.
That's what I fell asleep when they showed the package. Yeah, okay, so that's supposed to change the WWE universe.
Well, the legacy, yeah, exactly. But what he's saying is the legacy is going to become the dominant faction in World Wrestling Entertainment, and they will run buckshot over everyone else.
Wild, if you will.
Was that a WCW pay-per-view?
Buck Wild? Yes. It took over for the Road Wild.
Everybody, for a while there, I don't know. I remember when he talked about the IED, but, after a while you're just like, you don't buy it, so I don't know why they even try to sell that. But in any case, I was also wanting to get your reaction about I heard you guys talk about a little earlier about the Money in the Bank ladder match, and I think one of you guys was saying that Christian, you think, might have a legit shot. Do you think
legit?
That's possible,
yeah.
even with
legit,
McMahon's
man
dislike for him?
And I wish people didn't put that out there. It's that damn internet, as Damien will always tell you.
Yeah, well, that's where we get all our info.
Email. But I got to get on this internet.
But the thing is that, Vince is reported. Here's how I work, and we've kind of had this talk. Gail Kim is now in the WWE, even though she's been in the WWE forever. Until I see her on TV, that's what WWE is to me. House shows don't count, Damien. Am I right or am I right?
You're right.
Okay, so this heat, quote unquote, that Vince has for Christian's prominently displayed on ECW every week. So where's the heat?
Yeah, that's true. And he has said before that he'll do what's best for business. Like bringing back Matt Hardy when he with the whole Edge thing years ago.
Right, exactly. And people tell me Tyson Tomko was back in WWE. I didn't see him, and neither did WWE fans.
Dark matches,
right? But dark matches don't count.
Right,
to people that watch TV. I guess, and that's the whole point I'm trying to make is the supposed heat that Vince has for Christian.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think Christian has got to be an odds-on favorite. Even though he's not my pick to win it this year, Christian has got to be an odds-on favorite.
That's true. That's true because, the only other person I could see him getting, but now he's got the U.S. title, is MVP. It's the only one I can think might get the rub.
MVP, still could get the push as well because MVP is now on this tremendous upswing. Money in the Bank could be the next thing for him.
That's true. And I don't know if you guys are right here locally, and I know this is Stream Nation or Nation worldwide, really.
Worldwide.
The pay-per-view is being played at selective bars and areas around, BWs and all that.
Correct.
They are playing, in case anybody wants to know, in Waukesha at Masters East Q Club. I don't work there, but it's close to me.
Sorry.
Well, you can go to WWE.com and they have all the
last
areas listed.
Yeah, he just bought it, so
from what I heard, so it's closer to me. I don't have to drive. But and one last thing, as far as the lumberjack match goes, is that just a way to get those guys a little bit of cash?
Oh yeah, it's the WrestleMania payday.
I would assume just get
keeping
them
up the card a little, give the match a little new dimension, because we've seen them wrestling for the last 3 weeks
the guys
now.
who can't be involved in it. I mean, they did that last year with the Battle Royal, right?
Yeah, I guess everybody. But that Battle Royal technically wasn't even on TV.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Did it or did it not count? The only reason you knew it counted because it was Battle Royal, and the winner of that Battle Royal battled against Chavo in an actual match. So
that's right. Okay.
Well, thank you so much for calling in from Heartland. We appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time here on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Thanks.
We're continuing along the phone lines. Let's go now to line 3. We've got Dan from Franklin on the Pro Wrestling Report here on 540 ESPN.
What's going on, gentlemen?
What's up, Dan?
Chilling. Just wanted to make it real quick because the last call was kind of long there. I read rumors or whatever online or whatnot that Hogan had some surgery not too long ago, Hulk Hogan. And I was wondering if there was any legitimate news as to him possibly making an appearance in the Legends.
Well, Hogan was shown, not that I'm a fan of TMZ, but we were in this very studio, I believe it was last week or the week before, looking at videos of Brooke Hogan up dancing on a pole, showing her Hulkster was sticking out. And
she was shaking her moneymaker?
Her Hulkster was sticking out when she got up on the pole. And in the audience, waving a crutch in the air, was Hollywood Hulk Hogan. So the rumors of the surgery...
That's my girl!
The rumors of the surgery are not really rumors, they're actual facts, because the man's walking around on crutches right now. But the whole thing between Hogan and his daughter, there's a video out there of him rubbing oil on his daughter, too. That's a little creepy.
He could certainly appear. I mean, is he going to participate physically? Doubtful, but he could certainly appear. What we hear is that they weren't able to reach an agreement financially, which is why Hogan was not included in the event.
For the surgery.
Gotcha. All right, appreciate it, guys.
Well, thank you so much for calling, Dan from Franklin.
Thanks,
this
Dan.
is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. You can join us on the phone lines at 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. Meet We're also live at PWRshow.com with the Chatmosphere. He has got some very active discussion going on. But let's talk about last week's TV. TNA Impact last week, Meathead, really had some. It was an interesting concept where they had it was a 6 sides of steel gauntlet match featuring 20 men, and the match went forever. It seemed like, but what a way to promote Lockdown than to have a steel cage match and have almost everybody participate, and then the whole thing between Angle and Jarrett really feeding into the major part of that. And then the Samoa Joe angle at the end.
I like the Angle promo that he cut at the end. Jarrett, I beat you 3 times. I play by your rules. You know what? It was tasty. I actually enjoyed it.
It was another solid showing for TNA. We'll talk about the ratings later, but TNA got a 1.3 last week, so they continue that little upswing that they've been having. At the forum at PWRshow.com, we've got some comments from some viewers, and we'll go ahead and share those with you. Remember, you can go to PWRshow.com, participate in the Chatmosphere, leave a message in the shout box, or go to the forum. This one comes from Panda Pro, who says, I wholeheartedly agree with your perception of Impact this week in reference to the PWR Express episode talking about Impact. However, I was barely interested in expecting Jarrett as a hero spot. Why else would TNA recycle WCW not to put younger talent ahead, but to drag people out of retirement? They've decided that as a company and promotion does not have a future as anything but the WWE senior circuit, so why not bury the kids so they have no future too?
You know what? Nothing against Panda Pro, right, Damien? That's the name, Panda Pro?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing against that, but apparently if the company is seeing record ratings, and again, I hate to hammer this point home over and over, but what is wrestling, Damien? Business.
Correct.
What is business about?
Money.
Yeah, the money. It's all about the money. Thank you, Vince Nelson. But here's the thing. If they're getting record ratings, they're doing something right. Exactly. I hate it too, but what are they doing right, Damien?
They're giving most of the viewers what they want to see and gaining new viewers in the process.
They're gaining new viewers. That's exactly what they're doing.
Some 300,000 over the last few weeks.
By putting up names in the main events that you know. Angle, Jarrett, Foley, Sting, Booker, Nash, Steiner, and the list goes on and on and on. They're giving you names that you recognize. Now, they're hoping that you tune in, see those names, and then catch the other names. Now,
Right.
if they do it right, hopefully, again, they'll intertwine the front line with the main event Mafia.
It's the same thing as when, stores, Best Buy, American, whoever has a sale, they've got the marquee item that they might have in limited inventory to get you in the store.
Correct.
Because once you're in the store, you're going to buy other things. It's the same concept.
And what I really get upset about, Damien, though, is this rehashed philosophy, ideology, if you will, of it's the WCW senior circuit. It's their, holding down the young guy, blah, blah, blah. It's about business.
We had a response in the PWR forum by Zero Rocky who said, seriously, to the last post, are you kidding me? I was enjoying TNA for the first time in forever. The Cage Battle Royal had a few annoying things, but nothing that detracted from the match too much. Angle was dominant, which I liked, and we're left with him and Steiner just waiting for the last guy, and it has to be Joe. And I'm excited and actually standing out of my chair waiting for Samoa Joe to come in and kick their tails all across the cage, and the count goes down, and out comes Jeff Jarrett.
Again.
All the excitement that was built up by the previous 40 minutes just left me in one big whoosh. Instead of making Joe look dominant, we get a one-armed Jarrett and a confusing De A Machina. To say that I was disappointed would be quite an understatement.
Well, that's what TNA does, though.
We're going to take a time out. When we come back, much more here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
MIAW.
Good Lord.
ATAT. I'm back on your air. MIAW. Damien.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. We're live Monday night, March 30th, 2009. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead. Thank you so much for tuning in on 540 ESPN or ESPNMilwaukee.com. You can join us on the phone lines, ladies and gentlemen. The number 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. Let's go to the phone lines. I believe our next caller is Jamie from Rochester, New York. Jamie, you are live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
What's up, guys? Y'all ready for WrestleMania?
Yeah, I'm ready. You didn't tune out after I started singing? Thanks for staying.
Yeah, I'm attending there, too.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I don't know how TNA be getting these record settings for the last couple of weeks. I mean, like, I'm a big TNA fan, so is the WWE's. But where is they trying to go with all this?
Again, as we just said, they're getting new viewers. There's new people that are like, oh, man, I missed those guys. Where have they been? Those are the ones that are tuning in.
Yeah.
The audience is out there. I mean, the wrestling audience is out there, but they haven't been watching TNA as much as they're watching WWE programming. So, not sure what the question where they're going with this. Well, they're trying to get more viewers, and the product that they've been delivering has been well received by those viewers. So they shouldn't change it, but they should maintain the consistency of it, and that's going to be the difficult part. That is certainly going to be the difficult part of the course of the next few weeks is can they keep the momentum going? And I'm not sure if they can.
So, yeah, did y'all think the WrestleMania card this year is strong?
Strong? I don't know if strong is the right word. It's definitely. Go ahead, Damien.
It's better than it has been. Just looking at it, the number of matches alone is a little higher than we've seen in the last few years. I think the two mains on top are strong, while the Cena show Edge situation has gotten pretty obnoxious.
The two mains are supposed to be the title matches, but what really has been built amazingly strong is HBK Taker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? Do you think WrestleMania's card is strong? Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. I don't know why they don't got an ECW championship match yet.
Well, let's be honest. Do you really care? I mean, do you care about the ECW championship? Be honest.
No.
Okay. See, that's the thing. I mean, it's not, they're defending the Intercontinental belt for the first time in whatever, but the United States belt. I mean, if we're talking about it, maybe they should have had a consolidation of the U.S. and IC belts. I mean, maybe that could have made history, too. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, Jamie, thank you for calling from Rochester, New York, here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Let's go now to Gioni from Waukesha. You're live on 540 ESPN on the Pro Wrestling Report.
Hey, guys, what's going on?
What's up, man? It's Gioni, right?
No, Gianni.
Gianni. What's up, Gianni?
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on how TNA is doing great business right now with viewers.
Okay.
I know I'm watching it more just because the WWE is just repeating itself over and over and over again. You know, and they got TNA has new stars. They got some, you know, the Ultimate X, and they've got the 6 Sides of Steel.
Well, that's new to you now, and again, you know, it's a great place to put Lockdown right around WrestleMania because it's 6 Sides of Steel. That's different than WrestleMania. You're not going to see 6 Sides of Steel at WrestleMania.
No, you're not. The only steel thing you would see at Mania would be a steel cage,
Hell in a
which
Cell.
they done, which probably won't happen, or the Hell in a Cell, which I believe they did once, or not at all.
I believe that one was also the Hell in a Kennel, which isn't supposed to be talked about ever.
The match that never happened.
Yeah. I don't think, well, technically it didn't happen.
Well, thank you for your call from Waukesha. We appreciate you spending a little time with us here on the Pro Wrestling Report tonight. Remember, you guys can join us as well. The number 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. We've also got the Chatmosphere going live at pwrshow.com. And media talking about Impact. Obviously, the Don West, Mike Tenay thing has made the programming much more interesting. And we had a comment in the forum from the user by the name of Woodenfield who said, reference Don West, the last few weeks, ever since he told off Tenay, West has been on fire. Most entertaining commentator in wrestling today. He is funny, and more often than not, he is right about his opinions on the situation.
That's the best part. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that's the best part about a heel commentator. You know, the face commentator is always going to try to sell you on this or this. This guy's good, this guy's bad. The heel commentator is always going to tell you what's actually happening.
He goes on to say, does Woodenfield at the PWR forum at pwrshow.com, I could be biased since I have taken the main event Mafia side in the storyline. I've always been a fan of Don West, and now with the new dimension, he is even better. Did you ever think, put yourself 6 months ago, did you ever think we'd have people on the forum singing the praises of Don West?
Well, where were we 6 months ago? Let's see, 6 months ago we were at October, November, right? We were around Bound for Glory, which I have to admit, once again, is not in August. You know, Don West, yeah, he's entertaining. It did come out of nowhere. Remember, just out of nowhere, they put the camera on West and Tenay, who face, you know, different directions now on the tables all the time. They just move around back and forth, and he just flipped out and left. Flipped out and left another week, came back drunk. I mean, you know, it's entertaining. It's something going on.
Let's go back to the phone lines. We've got Miguel on a cell. Not in a cell, but on a cell. Miguel, you're live at the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's my first time calling.
Hey, thanks for calling, man. Where are you calling from?
I'm from New Jersey.
Oh, from Jersey. Nice. What's up?
Well, I just want to call about the whole, like, Money in the Bank match. I think, like, Christian is, like, a huge favorite to win, at least to me. Because, I mean, back in the day when he was from the WWE, I was kind of never a fan of him.
Okay.
When he moved on to TNA, I kind of saw him, like, in a different light kind of thing.
You saw him as main event, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I think, like, WWE might have seen him in the same light. I mean, that he can deliver, and I think he can be he's one of the favorites to win the Money in the Bank match in Mania.
Huh. Okay. You know, as we've been talking about with Money in the Bank, Christian, in my opinion, is an odds-on favorite. Again, the supposed heat that Vince has for Christian. Again, why would he have heat with him? He brought him in. He put him in a prominent role on ECW. Granted, ECW is the third-tier show compared to SmackDown, compared to Raw, but he brought him on. He shows him on TV every week, and now he's been showing him on Raw, SmackDown, and ECW every week. For how many weeks now, Damian? 3 weeks? 4 weeks?
Yeah.
He's been on every TV show, so why does he have heat with him? I don't get that.
Well, I don't think it does. I mean,
right.
You said it yourself. Why would you bring him back if you have something against him? You know?
Well, and that, again, that continues to, that's a rumor that runs rampant. No, we can't have that confirmed. Now, here's the thing. While it's a good business decision to have brought Christian back, if he wanted to come back, it was his choice. And, you know, if the owner of the company didn't like him so much, then maybe he wouldn't have hired him, is the way I look at it. So,
I mean, you know, we could go on and, you know, go into our rant on Christian for another 20 minutes, but you know what? Christian is a favorite. I think he's a favorite in the match. Again, that's not who I picked to win, but I think Christian's a favorite.
Well, I got another thing about TNA, though.
Okay.
I've never been, like, a really huge fan of TNA, but recently I started watching it, like, every week, right after they formed the Main Event Mafia. But then it kind of just started reminding me WWE back in 2001 with the whole invasion thing, like one faction against like everybody against everybody. And now they just like, I don't know. I don't think they don't know what they're doing in there, because they got like, I don't know. They got Mick Foley in his thing, which I don't know. The last time I watched TNA, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Sting challenged Mick Foley for a match in Smackdown.
Right.
I would say put the heavyweight champion with Mick Foley, who hasn't been in an active role in a while. I mean, he can deliver a good match, but I don't think this is the time and place, because it's like, I don't know.
And then it's just the filler. But you know what Mick Foley versus Sting does when it's the headline of a pay-per-view? It's going to sell buy rights. It's going to sell tickets. It's going to get people to buy. So.
And that's what matters. Miguel from New Jersey, thank you so much for your
Thanks,
call
Miguel.
here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. You can call us as well, folks. Number 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. We're also live at ESPNMilwaukee.com and PWRshow.com. We're going to take a timeout for SportsCenter and then more of the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
For over 10 years, the world's #1 source for professional wrestling news and information. And once again, here's your hosts, Damian Nelson, Frank Cosentino, and the man they call Meathead. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, here live Monday night, March 30th, 2009. 11 o'clock p.m. as we kick off.
Yay, 2009.
Woo! As we kick off the big second hour here, we've still got to preview WrestleMania 25. We're going to talk about Smackdown from last Friday night. We've got the news desk, information on a MIAW show, and our WrestleMania Dream matches. I was also going to take a look at 12 rounds. Well, not the movie, but what we thought of it, and much more, including your calls, which can be heard by calling 276-3776. Again, that's 276-3776 here locally, or 1-800-990-3776. We're also live at PWRshow.com and ESPNMilwaukee.com in the Chatmosphere.
Chatosphere.
Let's go to the phones. We've got Joey from Mukwonago. You're live on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN.
Hey, guys, I had a question for you. I just wanted to get your opinion. I don't want to keep going on with the TNA thing, but I was wondering how you think TNA will go when Batista retires in a year like he says he wants to. Taker, is going to probably go within the next 3 to 5 years. Michaels is getting up there.
So are you asking if TNA will take off even more because of the lack of WWE talent?
Yeah, because, Batista is one of their huge stars right now. Taker's and Triple H are their two main draws.
Well, they're still gonna survive. They're gonna survive on Triple H, Cena, Orton. They're gonna survive on your Shelton Benjamins, your Matt Hardys, your Jeff Hardys. I mean, they have, as much as we don't like to sound like we're marked for anything, because we're not trying to be marked for anything but business itself, for wrestling itself. But WWE has a second tier. If they dropped Batista, Taker, and Shawn Michaels, if those guys disappeared, then, they've got another level of guys that are ready to step up into their spot.
Yeah, but then when that happens, they're going to lose all the guys that are, my age, in their early 20s and everything, because, those are the guys that we know and that we like to watch.
That's not necessarily true, because there's guys that are in their mid-30s. I'm looking at a guy right now, and I know he's looking at a guy right now that still enjoy wrestling. I grew up, watching wrestling before Taker wrestled. Before the Hogan.
Enjoy it.
And it doesn't mean that those guys won't show up. I mean, I personally, this is just me. I don't know if, this is how you view it, but guys like me want to see the next big thing. And I'm not talking Brock Lesnar. I'm talking about the next, big wrestler, the next this, the next that. I want to see new. I want to see new. I want to see new.
I want to see the next, next big thing too, but okay. When they go, I'm not going to watch it every Monday, every Friday. I'm going to just occasionally watch it.
Okay.
Because, I like Randy Orton. But right now they're pushing Cena. I'm not into Cena much anymore because he's too over marketed. He's not original anymore. Not like when he first started with the whole thugonomics.
So what if at the same time that you lost, say, a Taker, a Michaels, or a Batista, what if they gave you a new guy that we don't even know about yet?
They have to get him right away when they leave for me to continue watching.
Okay.
They'd have to. I'm a bigger guy. I like the bigger guys like Brock Lesnar and Taker. I like the power. The high flying's cool, but they don't have a lot of new moves. They pretty much do the same stuff.
Well, WWE, that's going to be the same thing no matter what. Guys are going to do the same thing. I mean, we're grooming guys now like Evan Bourne, and we're grooming guys like Jack Swagger, and guys like that.
Yeah, my guy in ECW is Jack Swagger. Just
Swagger.
He's the big guy. He's got the swagger.
Hence the name.
He's the kind of like the younger Shawn Michaels.
Sure.
The cockiness. And I'm pretty soon the
different
ladies
teeth, that's for
coming.
sure.
Joey, thank you so much for calling in. We're out of time for this particular call here on the Pro Wrestling Report at 540 ESPN. But Meathead, as we were talking about last week on TV, WWE Smackdown last week, Shawn Michaels, it's like they were doing the God thing again.
Really? You think?
It was eerie.
Were they trying to sell that it was somebody other than Shawn Michaels? Because if you looked, HBK was written across the screen as they were walking out.
In the PWR forum at pwrshow.com, Jay Colombino said in regards to that HBK Tinker segment on SmackDown, wow, awesome promo from HBK, great way to build up Mania. Laugh out loud, HBK was gold.
You know what? I like the promo, though. It was somewhat entertaining. Except Shawn Michaels got a lazy eye.
He does.
And it's hard to watch.
Jensa goes on to say, watching it again, I think it's pretty epic, and this segment alone showed me that this is the true main event on WrestleMania, as you said, Meathead.
Well, I didn't say the true main event, but, man, it is a top. It's got to be, if you're going to go the title matches as the top two, this has got to be the one right underneath it. But then again, we've talked about this before. You got to put something in between. You need a little jelly with all that, peanut butter. And it makes me think of Shakes the Clown, Damien.
Yeah.
Shakes the Clown.
Don't say it.
Brown.
Don't say it. Easy to spread. Let's go to the phone. Anthony from Helmar. Anthony, you are live at the Pro Wrestling Report at 540 ESPN.
Oh, hey, guys.
And where is Helmar?
What?
Damien forgets who you are, but go ahead and tell him again where Helmar is.
In California.
It's his first day. Hey, do you know what movie we're talking about when we were talking about Brown? Easy?
No.
It's okay. Good.
Just stop it. What do you have for us?
They kind of done like one thing. I gotta admit, I laughed when I saw Santino coming out. I was like, oh god, he's not gonna come out with like. I thought it was gonna be a brawl of panties for some reason.
Well, that was close enough.
Still a bad image.
He was in a Borat mankini, if you will.
But they're gonna have like some of the divas that were from the past come in and just show themselves.
Well, we know one diva that's coming in.
Yeah, but here's another one, Bull Nakano.
Say it again.
Bull Nakano, the one to be Medusa in the title.
Oh.
But the Lockdown, they can have. I'm kind of like wondering why they having Mick Foley versus Sting. But I remember Nostalgia, like both guys are fan favorites, and they go like,
well, there's two huge names on top of the card too.
Yeah, true. But what happens if they do this? Have like Sting retain the belt, which is most likely going to happen. Have then Hernandez come in and says, "I'm cashing in my shot right now," and beat Sting for the belt.
That'd be nice. I don't see it happening though. It'd be really nice.
No doubt, they're not going to do that.
Well, Anthony, thank you so much for calling. I think that it could be an interesting scenario. It's almost like Edge at New Year's Revolution was 2005 or 6, where he cashed in on Cena to become the champion in World Wrestling Entertainment. Let's continue on the phone lines. Remember, you can join us 276-3776. Again, that's 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. We got Bowman from Boston on line 3.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
What's up, Bowman?
What's up? The first thing to the Christian thing, I think it's really funny that everybody on the internet seems to have a problem with Christian and all this other stuff, but yet they claim they don't watch ECW. Yeah. They know everything that's going on with Christian.
Yeah.
Every little thing.
Yeah, and that's kind of the point I've been getting at. Bowman, I want you to mark your calendar and the time because I think we agree.
And all it's just, and as far as the Money in the Bank, I think he has a shot, but it would be nice for them for once to do something kind of different. I would like to see something of a shocker as like the Kofi Kingston winning it, just so we can talk about something different the next night.
I have my shocker. Damien, are you ready for my Money in the Bank prediction?
Ready.
Shelton Benjamin.
Really, you think so?
Shelton Benjamin.
That would be nice too. It'd just be nice to see something different. He doesn't have to win the title, but it'd just be something nice and different. And
well, look at No Way Out. No Way Out's a prime example. There was so much more interest. The ratings went up for the couple of weeks after. Because they did, the Edge walking out with the World Championship, there was no scenario by which that should have happened. And they really got a lot of interest from that pay-per-view and doing something that wasn't expected. So the more you surprise the fans, especially in this environment nowadays in wrestling, the better off you are.
Okay, I got two more things for you guys.
Okay, go.
First would be what's going to probably be the main event at WrestleMania, which is Triple H versus Randy Orton, which is a match I still cannot get into because I just cannot buy Triple H getting along with Vince when just 2 years ago stuffed his head up Big Show's butt.
Yep.
It is. I think the problem is around WrestleMania time, and this is just their tradition. They've always, except for certain pay-per-views, they've always built the biggest face against the biggest heel. And for a brief period of time after Randy Orton won, the rumor started around again, as they do every year around WrestleMania around this time, is that Orton and Cena are going to face each other. I think when that did not happen, you kind of, you're trying to buy Triple H as a face doing heel things. He's going in and invading somebody's home, a la Stone Cold Steve Austin and Brian Pillman.
Uh-huh.
It's it's just tough to buy that. I think it'll be an okay match, but it's tough to buy that. And as far as TNA's ratings concerned, I think Meat's right. I think it's the main event Mafia and Cena and the old school guys, and that's the whole reason why they're just seeing
why the ratings are going up.
Why the ratings are going up, but and I am almost certain they will go down after WrestleMania because TNA still doesn't have their star. Tell me who in TNA do you watch and you can sit there and say that is the star of TNA?
Well, it's Kurt Angle.
Yeah, it's Kurt Angle is the man.
No,
but I mean, as far as the breakout?
No. Kurt Angle is a guy that was made at WWE that came down to TNA.
Who TNA made?
And who did TNA make?
AJ Styles, Samoa Joe.
Well, AJ Styles was Ring of Honor, but Ring of Honor didn't make him. TNA made him.
Now, ask any of those casual wrestling fans who those two guys are.
Exactly.
Good point.
It's a great point.
Who are those two guys? And I can guarantee this. Kurt Angle, within the next 3 years, mark my words, will probably be back in the WWE.
We'll mark those words, Bowman.
Within 3 years.
We'll mark those words. It's like a royal prediction, huh?
Carl's gimmick infringement.
Bowman, thank you so much for calling from Boston,
Thanks,
Massachusetts. Meathead, let's now go to the news desk. And as we said earlier, Time Warner Cable and HDNet agreement ends on the 31st, tomorrow. New agreement has not yet been met. However, both parties are expected to reach another agreement. And for those of you that don't know, Ring of Honor airs on HDNet.
And again, I've watched the two shows. The first one kind of put me to sleep. Second one, I was definitely loving McGuinness versus Briscoe.
Tracy Brooks suffered a minor injury in Iraq. You'll love this one, Meathead. She had a machine gun shell that kicked back, went down her shirt, and burned her implant.
Ooh, it didn't leak like China, did it?
Ah, crap! The Suicide character is expected to again be played by Kaz, Frankie Kazarian. Once he returns, it's currently being played by Christopher Daniels. TNA Impact scored a 1.3 rating last week. ECW with a 1.25. Raw with a 3.5 rating. Night of Champions and the Great American Bash, two pay-per-views from World Wrestling Entertainment, have switched months on pay-per-view. One switching to June, the other, basically flip-flopping June and July. Speaking of WWE pay-per-views, One Night Stand is now named the Night of Extreme, and WWE's Encyclopedia, which was released recently, debuted at number 10 on the New York Times.
Yeah, but you know what the problem with that encyclopedia is? It's WWE that wrote it. Because it'll be based on WWE's history or version thereof.
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Please!
This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Thank you so much for tuning in. Damian Nelson's the man they call Meathead. We're live Monday night, March 30th.
Somebody call my mama.
On 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com. You can also join us by calling us here in the studio. 276-3776 is the number. Again, 276-3776 or 1-800-990-3776. If you're listening at pwrshow.com or ESPNMilwaukee.com, 800-990-3776. You can also join us at the Pro Wrestling Report website with its atmosphere. Got all the discussion on tonight's live show right there for you to take a look at. This Saturday night, Meathead at 7:30 p.m., MIAW. It's going to be at Papa Luigi's 2. It's at 1919 12th Avenue. The main event, Silas Young versus Ryan Rogue for the championship.
Silas Young, I don't know if he still has it or not, but had a WWE developmental deal.
It's also going to be a ladder match featuring Justin Dredd on that card.
Nice.
Again, that's Saturday night at Papa Luigi's 2, 1919 12th Avenue. Right? Yes, indeed. Yeah. A good way to start WrestleMania weekend is they're going to actually be showing it as well there at that venue.
Oh, is it going to be in high def?
Well, if people think that just because they have a high-def TV that it's in high def.
That's people, not me. That doesn't work for me. Trust me, I will go up there and count the pixels.
I saw the first movie since Friday the 13th this past weekend. It was 12 rounds featuring John Cena.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
You know what? The movie actually looked like it had a good story.
So what happened?
The movie had a good story.
Because you said it looked like it had a good story.
No. In the commercials, that's why I went to see it. It was the first WWE film I've seen since Kane See No Evil. And it was actually a decent movie.
Was Cena acceptable?
Cena was acceptable. The supporting talent were acceptable. The acting was not as good as it could have been across the board, but the story, it's like Doctor Who.
You know what's funny?
The old Doctor Who, not this new stuff, but where you can still see the strings on the ships back in the 60s from the BBC, but the stories were so great you still watch it.
You know what's funny is the girl, she was in Rock's movie, a WWE movie.
Was she really?
I believe she was in Standing Tall.
I think they could have found a more attractive woman.
She's not that bad. I'd rub one out for her. I mean, come on.
The movie debuted to a $5.3 million start in the United States, made just under $1 million internationally, about $6.3 million worldwide total. That's viewed as on the low end of estimates, actually below the estimates the WWE put out there. To contrast that, the Marine opened with a $7.1 million opener, ended up making about $18.8 million combined domestically and internationally. The Condemned Steve Austin's movie, which was a failure by all accounts, opened with a $3.8 million opener, ended with $7.3.
How much promotion did The Condemned get? How much promotion did Behind Enemy Lines Columbia get? I mean, Cena's 12 rounds has been promoted 3 to 4 times per WWE programming.
Yeah, to the point of nauseam.
Yeah, nauseam is the right word.
Again, it was actually a decent movie. The plot was interesting. The acting was very weak, except for the lead villain in the movie. There was a lot of twists and turns. I actually recommend this movie.
What?
I actually recommend this movie.
To who? People that are in prison.
Everybody who thinks I'm a TNA mark.
Oh,
it's a lot of people. I'm going down to Impact, April 21st and 22nd.
Last
I'm going to be in the Impact
April
Zone.
Or second to last weekend? Yeah.
Got some interviews lined up. We're going to be bringing some TV
but you're a
high
TNA mark,
definition.
because you know what? You're a TNA mark.
Because I go to Impact, I guess.
Because you go to Impact, and now you'll get talent on the show. And, by the way, for those in the chat-osphere, that I guess makes us holier than thou. But continue.
Good movie. Really, it was entertaining, and that's really all you need out of a movie, an hour and 48 minutes. There were about 12 other people in the theater with me. This was on a Sunday afternoon.
Did I tell you the best movie experience I ever had? This will be quick.
No.
Well, it was rated, technically, it should have been rated MA. Or NR, excuse me. MA is for TV. Because it was South Park's Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. I went on a Wednesday afternoon at noon with my buddy. We watched it in the back broom closet of a theater. I mean, it would have held maybe 75 people. We were the only ones there. Funniest movie I've ever seen.
Boring.
Thanks, Homer, but it was the funniest movie I ever seen. I damn near pissed myself.
WrestleMania 25. Coming up this weekend on pay-per-view. We're going to talk about it match by match. You all are familiar with the matches. Let's go down and give you our predictions. We're going to have an extended version. We're just going to talk about the main event matches right here on the radio show. But we've got an extended version on PWR TV in glorious high definition coming up. It's going to be available on the site in the middle of the week. And then right after WWE Smackdown on Channel 14 at 9 o'clock p.m. on Friday night. So make sure you tune into that. And last week, Meathead, on PWR TV, we had our 10 best heels of all time. Lots of more requests have come in for additional 10 best episodes.
My head is stuffed up, and I still didn't get that.
Lots more requests from the PWR.
A lot more.
From the PWR universe.
Ugh. Come on.
This sounds better than WWE. From the Internet Wrestling community for additional 10 best episodes, and we'll be doing more of those over the course of the next few weeks. So make sure you tune into the WrestleMania preview this week on PWR TV. Now let's get to it. the main events, Undertaker versus HBK. I think you can put that into a main event category. Undertaker could go 17-0 or 16-1 at WrestleMania against Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels.
17-0 for Undertaker. It's easy. But they've done a great job of making you think there's a chance. I think that's really what the build-up is.
At this point, though, it makes no sense for Undertaker to lose a match at WrestleMania. Right. All the hype that's gone into it over the course of the last 5 years.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what the build-up is. The build-up is to make you think, there might be a chance. I mean, if he was going up against Jack Swagger, do you think there'd be a chance?
Jack 1-2!
Yeah, Jack 1-2!
Yeah, good theme song, by the way. Yeah, and that The Voices single that was recently released by WWE.
Oh, with all those bonus tracks?
Number 1, number 4, number 8, and number 10.
You got songs that are growing on you.
Yes. 1, 4, 8, and 10. Voices, Kung Fu Naki, Kali's song.
Because Kung Fu Naki isn't from Milwaukee.
That's what they say. The World Heavyweight Championship will be on the line as Triple H takes on as Edge takes on John Cena and The Big Show.
Yeah.
Vicky's love is also hanging out there, I guess.
It makes me think of Resident Evil 5 with the fat just kind of hanging off of a hook, and you can kind of shoot at it. And
I think Cena walks out of this one with the belt.
Yeah, it's good for business.
Or Edge somehow or another figures out a way to win it.
Even though on TV, I believe, next week you may hear me say something different. Who knows?
It changes, The other main event is Triple H versus Randy Orton. This one's very personal. Obviously, the McMahon family involved. It looks like we might have a McMahon in every corner again, Meathead.
Oh, no. Why?
That was pretty bad.
Where's Linda?
She's running the business. She's on the Connecticut board.
So she can't be involved.
School board, rather. But again, for more about WrestleMania 25, go ahead and check out PWR TV this week. But the Hall of Fame on Saturday night, Meathead, I think what we're going to see on TV is probably Steamboat Austin and the Funks being inducted. In addition to that, you've got Coco Beware.
I want to see, you know which one I want to see? WrestleMania!
The Fink?
The Fink.
He is the only man, the only WWE employee to have appeared
at every WrestleMania. How's it going to work at WrestleMania 26?
Well, he'll appear again.
How?
Why wouldn't he?
How?
Well, he's going to get to the venue.
Okay, but what I'm saying
is... Well, no, he does the Hall of Fame introduction every year.
Okay.
That's what he's done the last couple of years.
The Hall of Fame.
Well, yeah.
And that mustache.
The Fink, Cowboy Bill Watts, the Von Erichs, and... the
Von Erich family.
The Von Erich family, correct. All are also going to be inducted at the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony, and we will implore all of the fans who are going to that ceremony to
be civil.
Be civil. Enjoy the moment, and it's not for your.
You know, on the ticket, Damien, because we've gone the last 3 years. You know what it says on the ticket? It's formal wear. Am I right?
Business attire.
Business attire.
Same thing,
okay. Does business attire mean an old Austin 316 shirt?
Faded with the letters cracked.
Yeah, but you know what I don't understand?
And a fanny pack. And
you know what I don't understand is, they were wearing Zubas the last 3 years when Austin had nothing to do with the Hall of Fame. So now when they really come out this year wearing the Austin 316, Blood from Stone T-shirts and all that other good stuff, what about business attire? Some people dress to the nines when they go out there. You and I just go in regular TV get-up. What about the people that go in their T-shirts? Come on, man.
Well, I mean, once they took the intimacy of the event out, right, by doing it in the larger venues, I think the event went downhill. I mean, you remember what we said last year, and if you haven't checked that out, you can take a look at our WrestleMania section at pwrshow.com, and all the videos and our reviews from WrestleMania 24 are there. But, it just it didn't have that special feeling as it did when it was in the smaller theaters. So I think that they really, it's a business. Yes, we said earlier, wrestling's all about business, but as fans, it was better when it was special.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have anything else to add to that.
Bill and Doug are going to be back with their Uncut segment next week, getting prepared for WrestleMania down in Texas, which they will be attending, so make sure you tune in for that. We're going to take a time out here on the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.
Behold the King, the King of Kings. On your knees, dog.
On your knees, dog.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damian Nelson, the man they call Meathead, live Monday night, March 30th. Thank you for joining us at 540 ESPN and at ESPNMilwaukee.com, PWRshow.com as well. You can join us on the phone lines here. 276-3776 is the number, 276-3776, or 1-800-990-3776, 1-800-990-ESPN. The chatmosphere is still just at capacity, I think, Meathead. At PWRshow.com.
Haven't there been many Nitros that have also been at capacity?
Well, they were never truly at capacity. It was all papered. This Monday night, we want to give you guys the opportunity to come on down in Milwaukee to Potawatomi Bingo Casino. You're going to get the chance to meet two very, very popular professional wrestling stars. Firstly, Terry Runnels, formerly Marlena of WWE, is going to be there from 5 to 7 p.m. It's a free autograph signing. You must be 21 or older. Mick Foley, also going to be in the house Monday night, April 6th from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Mick Foley and Terry Runnels at Potawatomi Casino. Again, you must be 21 or older to enter, and you must be a Firekeepers Club member. Mick Foley and Terry Runnels coming to Milwaukee Monday.
Yeah, that's nice. You know, I haven't seen Terry in a while, and the Mixter, we haven't seen him in about a minute.
Well, we certainly will see him. We're working out some details of some things right now I'm not ready to announce. But this is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN, and every week we give you our top three professional wrestlers.
No, they're called VI3, Damien. Get with the gimmick.
VI3, and we always start with the man they call Meathead because he is never ready.
No. He's the least prepared.
That's a different statement. That's like saying inexpensive instead of saying cheap.
No.
I'm cheap.
I'm frugal.
Like the Frugal Gourmet? Hopefully not.
You ready for the VI3?
Ready.
VI3 from Meathead. My singles competitor, I was impressed with Jay Briscoe. Jay Briscoe is my singles.
How dare you not pick somebody from WWE?
You, Mark. Oh, wait, you're a TN Mark, I think is what it said in the
Apparently.
chat sphere. Yeah. My tag team will go out to, once again, Beer Money Inc. They entertain me. And my female.
How do you feel about them without Jackie now?
I don't notice. And my female goes out to Mrs. WrestleMania. I'm making a royal prediction. Mrs. WrestleMania. Santino Marella.
Because you own a mankini?
Yes. Get it out.
The definitive VI3, the one all of you tuned in to listen to tonight. Number one for me, singles, goes to Samoa Joe. I'm intrigued by the character now. The female spot goes to somebody who you may not have noticed. Back in WWE, she made her debut on Smackdown last Friday night. It was Gail Kim. They never mentioned, obviously never mentioned she came from TNA, but never mentioned she had been in WWE previously. They just said, it's Gail Kim. But she is my top female spot.
Well, Gail Kim was announced 3 weeks prior when they put up a graphic with Gail Kim on it, and then took it off. Yeah.
Whoops. And tag team spot goes to LAX. Just dominant in the tag team field. Not really performing as a tag team lately, but they were on Impact last week for the first time in a long time, and I always love seeing LAX. Now, Meathead, WrestleMania coming up this weekend. We want to share with the world our WrestleMania dream matches. Each of us is going to pick two matches for a total of 4.
Are we talking about this year's or all time?
All time. Matches that we have never seen at WrestleMania, but matches that would make for epic battles. Ones that if you were booking WrestleMania, the WrestleMania event, and you had every talent and star to pick from, the 2 dream matches. Of course, there are more than 2, but we will narrow it down to 2 that we will communicate. The 2 dream matches that you would like to see. And let's start with your first one. Unless you need more time, I'll be glad to start.
I've got one ready. Hogan Austin.
And why?
Money. Plain and simple, my man. Money. The man who defined 80s wrestling in the WWF. The man who defined 90s wrestling in the WWF. Head-to-head. They got close. Thank you, Ashley Larry. They got close when they went Hogan Rock. But Hogan
remember, Hogan challenged Austin
during the Hall of Fame.
Showboat move during the Hall of Fame, I think surrounding WrestleMania 23, I think it was. But that is certainly a money match, and one that, if the timing had worked out better, would certainly have been a marquee match on a WrestleMania, a dream match, if you will. I got Hogan in one of mine as well. And it's a match that we never saw out of WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair.
Woo! I knew it was coming as you were about to say it, because we've seen the match before. WWF never cashed in on that particular match.
On pay-per-view. Here's what they did, which was sort of smart. In 1992, I believe it was when Flair first came in as the Real World's champion, they went all over this country in house shows doing Flair versus Hogan, including here at the Bradley Center.
Yep.
Flair Hogan did house shows, was never on WWE television.
So therefore, it never happened.
But they made a lot more money off of it, I would imagine, by doing it in every house show and saying that was the only way to see it. But I thought it was a missed opportunity, and you saw as soon as Hogan came into WCW in 1994, they had the match at Bash at the Beach, Hogan versus Flair.
Oh.
Finally. It wasn't an epic wrestling match? Absolutely not. Ric Flair carried Hogan, as he does with a lot of people that he's been in programs with over the course of a few of the years. But that certainly would have been a WrestleMania marquee match, and why WrestleMania 8 did not feature those two, I'll never know, because that was Flair's WrestleMania while he was with the company.
Huh. Ready for my other one?
I'm ready for this.
Now, this is a fantasy match. Randy Orton versus Cowboy Bob Orton.
What?
Yeah. Randy Orton versus Cowboy Bob Orton as the undercard. Because father versus son. Do you really, besides a Vince Shane, do you really see father versus son? When have we, guess in WCW we saw...
versus Jimmy Snuka.
We saw, WCW saw Dusty versus Dustin, but that was awful. I want to see Randy Orton work up against Cowboy Bob Orton.
What was the match it was in the back of a truck. I think it was Dustin Rhodes versus somebody else.
I think that was on TNA. When they were on Fox Sports
no, don't you dare try it. It was WCW on a pay-per-view, Slamboree, I believe it was, where I'm looking it up right now. Let me go to the all-knowing Wikipedia. But they were in the back of a truck, driving down a road, having a wrestling match.
Huh. I mean, it's not like, Roddy Piper and Goldust, going up and down Hollywood.
Hey, that was was well
now
done.
He's in the white Bronco. Oh, no.
It was so cheesy, though, but it was good. Do you think it was 99? Let's do 99.
Sure.
But father versus son. We've had Bob Orton on this program, and, obviously he's been, as you said last week, an integral part of many of WrestleMania. Randy Orton, as of late as well, an integral part of WrestleMania. That is an interesting choice for those two. My other dream match for WrestleMania would be Andre the Giant versus the Big Show. That's two big men.
The Big Show. That's nice.
Would it be a wrestling epic? Absolutely not.
There's father versus son, pun intended.
Oh, well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Because WCW tried to push it that way.
Yeah.
So,
just like China is the daughter of Sergeant Slaughter. Because they have the same jawline.
And was that Jericho that pointed that out?
Possibly. I don't think so, but possibly.
Well, it is. Those are our two WrestleMania dream matches, and here's a dream match that we may see because not Randy Orton, but John Cena has actually challenged The Rock to a match at WrestleMania 26. He's done so twice now.
Who has?
John Cena.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Huh.
I'm sorry. He challenged Dwayne Johnson.
Would that be while he was hosting the Kids' Choice Awards and being a goof? That was just
Dwayne Johnson?
Yeah.
Did you watch the Kids' Choice
about
Awards?
15 seconds
Who did?
of it.
I saw that it was on. It popped up on the little on-screen guide, and I'm like, I just can't do it.
No,
hey,
I happened to be flipping.
Gay.
I happened to be flipping through channels, and it was on Nickelodeon, right?
Nick.
The reason is that Nickelodeon is on my TV sometimes because I watch Nick at night, man. I mean, come on.
Do you remember when we were growing up, and what was the show? The big show on Nickelodeon?
Double Dare.
No. With Mark Summers, that was a good show, but there was
you can't do this on TV.
Yeah, exactly. You got
more
slimed.
Yeah.
Apparently she was on that show. But John Cena challenging Dwayne Johnson. John Cena challenging Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, to a match at WrestleMania. Do you think Rock would come back? Do you think his people, his handlers would let him?
That's a money match. I think Cena Rock is a money match.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But would The Rock do it?
I don't know.
What does he have to gain aside from financial benefits to doing the match? He's tried to distance himself so far from professional wrestling that I just don't see him doing it. I mean, you even look at the negative press that he got for being a part of the Hall of Fame last year, where he really didn't even show up for WrestleMania. Granted, he was filming a movie at the same time and had to get back out and do that. But much like Mickey Rourke, that whole situation is people won't let him be a part of WrestleMania. We'll see what actually happens this Sunday. But I don't think it's possible. I think The Rock can go back to wrestling when he's done with his movie career, and depending on how long that lasts. But I really don't think.
I don't think he's going to be done with his movie career. I think The Rock has got a place to stay. Did you see Escape from
Witch Mountain?
No, but
That's
it was a #1 movie
was
over
it really?
a weekend. Yeah.
I believe that was released last weekend, not this past, correct?
A couple weeks.
But that's the challenge out there for WrestleMania 26, which we know is going to be in Phoenix, Arizona, 4 hours from Vegas.
How far is it from Vegas?
4 hours from Vegas.
And it's going to be in April?
March 30th, I believe, is the date.
Damon, the date, I can't.
You got something else going on? A little something?
A little something.
A little one time?
Yeah. So, WrestleMania Glendale, actually, Arizona, is where it's going to be at, just outside of Phoenix. So, Glendale, Arizona. I believe they're going to Sun Devil Stadium or whatever the new Cardinal Stadium is called. I believe it's Sun Devil Stadium. So, ASU plays there too, don't they? Yeah.
We're going to take a time out. This is the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. When we come back, we've got the close of the show.
Pretty politicians, Damien.
I don't like this first.
I do.
Welcome back.
Find their place in line.
Welcome back to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN. Damien Nelson, the man they call Meathead. We close out the show here for Monday, March 30th.
Theory of a Dead Man is nothing more than Nickelback Light. That's what they are.
Nickelback, who's all their songs just sound the same?
Oh, did you just hear that? That's Nickelback Light.
L-I-T or L-I-G-H-T?
The only L-I-T-E is from Miller.
I want to make sure all of you know that you can pick up
Chinese?
The Great Lakes Championship Wrestling 2 Words, 2 Sweet event on DVD. Just go to BlizzardBrawl.com or GreatLakesChampionshipWrestling.com. Again, BlizzardBrawl.com. You can pre-order the DVD, which is actually, you're not pre-ordering it, you're ordering it, it's ready for shipping, and get that big matchup. Obviously, Kevin Nash and Scott Hall going up against BG and Kip James in that big controversial matchup. The Pro Wrestling Report team on commentary, special pre-show, halftime show, Al Snow versus Armando Estrada in really what is one of the most entertaining matches I've seen in a very long time. You can order that, again, at BlizzardBrawl.com, and keep in mind, coming up their next show from Great Lakes Championship
Outsiders
Wrestling
Collide
is June 12th at the Italian Community Center. I wonder what Frank's going to do for that show.
Hopefully take a bump.
Frank doesn't do that. I thought you knew.
By the way, in the Chat-osphere, there's going to be offers from some of the people that live out in the Phoenix area. We don't have to stay at a hotel. We can come stay at the condo, apparently. The only way I'm coming to stay at your condo, I need to be fed, I need to be bathed, and I need to have...
You can't do all that to yourself?
Oh, no. If you're putting me up, you need to feed me, bathe me, and get me women of the night.
Inappropriate. Little tribute to the Crusher. When I go out and pick up one of my ladies of the night. We were talking about that.
Rubber, dude. She gets around.
We were talking about that matchup with Dustin Rhodes at the back of a truck, and it was actually uncensored. 1995, not Slamboree or like I thought it was. It was Blacktop Bully versus Dustin Rhodes in a King of the Road match. Ugh. It was taped outside of Atlanta, and then actually what I didn't know was during that matchup, apparently both were fired for blading during the match because it was back at WCW's big no blood policy.
And what year was it again?
1995. March 19, 1995. It was actually this week. Funny that should come up. It was actually this week, or this month rather, 15 years ago.
Yeah, that's nice.
There's some other interesting things on that card. Alex Wright defeating Mark Starr. Who the hell was that?
I don't know.
Oh, it was a dark match. And then in a dark match, Steve Austin defeating Tim Horner in a dark match. 1 minute, 27 seconds.
And that was in 95.
1995.
And in 96, Austin went down and said, Austin 316.
Marcus Alexander Bagwell. What the hell is he up to nowadays?
He's still doing porn.
Teaming up with the Patriot, defeating Dirty Dick Slater and Bunkhouse Buck.
What did you just call him?
Dirty Dick Slater.
Oh, wrong.
That was his name.
Okay.
You not familiar?
You know what? Let's talk current wrestling from this generation.
Why don't you want to talk about your beloved WCW? Avalanche, Hogan, and Savage. The three main people featured on the promotional material for that pay-per-view in 1995. Wait a minute, what's wrong?
Sick again.
What's wrong? Oh, wait, is it because I haven't reminded the fans that WCW is a defunct wrestling organization that was purchased by WWE in 2001?
Boring.
That's all I'm saying. Bing defeated Jim Duggan in a martial arts match. Johnny B. Bad defeating Arn Anderson in a boxer versus
that guy stiffed
wrestler
me for an
match.
Autograph.
That was in the third round. Randy Savage defeated Avalanche by disqualification. Big Bubba Rogers defeating Sting.
By the way,
God, this sounds horrible.
For anybody who doesn't know, Big Bubba Rogers was the boss man.
The Nasty Boys defeating Harlem Heat in a Falls Count Anywhere match, and Hulk Hogan defeating the man they call Vader in a leather strap match.
Ugh.
That was your beloved WCW.
Wasn't my beloved.
You know what I got to say, though? If you look at some of the favorite videos at PWRshow.com, you'll find a lot of WCW material on there. I do miss Nitro.
Bobby
do
Heenan
miss
returning
WCW
to Nitro.
Yeah, that's I watch that once a week at least because it's just roll it. Thank you, Tony. I think that's a great idea.
In the background, I go ahead and play the Gorilla Monsoon Bobby Heenan highlights while I'm driving.
From WrestleMania 8,
or
1992, basically, which was just one of the best pay-per-view years.
You mean to tell me?
Yokozuna was a champion for 5 minutes. That was actually 1993. But, boy, Candido's sister really belt one out.
Gorilla said that a lot. Oh, would you stop?
Will you stop?
Will you stop?
Yeah, that was a staple between us. We should really do that from now on and look at what some of these pay-per-views were that long ago. Because, man, did you order that? Why if this was TV, you could see how defeated you look.
No, dude, I'm sick, man.
No, don't even try. You're defeated because of how horrible that lineup was so long ago. Guess what Alex Wright is up to nowadays?
Porn.
No. He is working as a banker and fitness instructor in Nuremberg.
I knew that. Let's talk about something current and relevant.
I just love how you can't handle it. You can't handle the truth.
Bitch. You know, we're going to have it blow up in the Chatosphere again because they're like 7 minutes behind, but it's about start ready to blow up and say, are you guys going to talk about something anybody cares about?
WrestleMania 25
there you go.
This Sunday. I tried to talk about WCW. I tried to give you an opportunity. We simply wanted to look at when that match was because you conveniently forgot when that match was. WrestleMania 25. This Sunday night live on pay-per-view. You know the matches. We will run them down for you again. 25 Diva Battle Royal. Matt Hardy versus Jeff Hardy in an Extreme Rules match. That one should be very interesting.
Hopefully it doesn't lay an egg.
JBL versus Rey Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. The Undertaker versus the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Chris Jericho will take on Rowdy Roddy Piper, Superfly Jimmy Snuka, and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. In order, Ric Flair will be at ringside, and Mickey Rourke is expected to be in the front row.
Again, something I don't care about.
The tag team titles will be unified, which is a pretty big deal, as Miz and Morrison take on Carlito and Primo. Speaking of Carlito, SmackDown last week, that backbreaker out of the suplex, I think Morrison was going for, was just an absolute work of art.
That's Morrison and Carlito that did that. Give equal credit. Equal credit.
The tag team belts will be unified in that lumberjack matchup, and then it's Money in the Bank. CM Punk, Kane, Mark Henry, MVP, Shelton Benjamin, Kofi Kingston, Christian, and Finlay are the participants in that matchup where somebody will get a shot at a championship in the next 12 months. John Cena versus The Big Show versus Edge for the World Heavyweight Championship. Edge's title is in jeopardy as he has to defend against two men coming up this Sunday at WrestleMania, and Triple H defends his title against Randy Orton, and it looks like we're going to have some McMahon involvement as well. We've got detailed analysis of each of those matchups coming up this week on PWR TV, which, again, can be seen Friday night at 9 o'clock p.m. on Channel 14 here in southeastern Wisconsin on Time Warner Cable, and also at PWRshow.com later in the week.
Yeah, and hopefully YouTube doesn't chop up our videos now.
Like maybe YouTube just doesn't like Booker T.
Apparently, they cut the man off at 8 minutes and 17
Booker
seconds.
T, who was on this program last week. You can go to some of our other broadcast partners, including the Daily Motion site for PWR to hear that interview in its entirety. Remember, Monday, April 6th, next Monday night, Mick Foley and Terry Runnels here in Milwaukee at Potawatomi Bingo Casino from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is a free appearance.
But you got to be 21 or over.
And indeed, at Potawatomi Bingo Casino. So we'll be down there, and make sure you guys come on down as well to see two of wrestling's finest. For the man they call Meathead and the Cause, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you so much for tuning in to the Pro Wrestling Report on 540 ESPN and ESPNMilwaukee.com.